Okay guys, in this video we're going to do special products. So for the pre-AP group, you guys did not get to go over this. So please keep in mind that for this particular video, special products, and the next one that I'm about to shoot over GCF, and also there's grouping. So this video is really important, and the next one. I feel like everyone should be good with a binomial times a binomial. But again, special products, I'm going to zip through this pretty quick, and then I may also in this video squeeze in how to do a trinomial to a binomial. We'll see. All right, so just again, watch all of this video, pre-AP and regular. If you need to watch this video, by all means. All right, here we go. So special products, if you look in the PDF that I uploaded, you'll notice that I uploaded this page. Okay. I uploaded this page here, and basically what this is these are special cases. Give me 1 second. My camera kind of went away, so I'm wondering, I'm going to just unplug and re-plug it up. There we go. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. So we got the square of a sum, which basically all it is if you see this notation where it has some kind of binomial and then it's raised to a second power, you can treat this like it's a base. And so basically all you're doing when you expand it out is you're multiplying it by itself twice. And this is the formula, right? Now keep in mind, and here's an example. So if you have x plus 4 and there's a square on the outside of the parentheses, you're multiplying two identical binomials that have a plus in the middle. But again, you can use the FOIL method and you will get the same answer. But again, this is just a faster way to do it. So let me show you two of those real quick. So let's just say we have something like, I want it to be confusing. Okay. So let's say we have something like 8c plus 3d squared. We're going to call this the A. We're going to call this term here the B. And the formula says that if we have A plus B squared, right, that's the same as A squared plus 2AB, you multiply, and then plus B squared in the back. So what I'm going to do is just say, okay, I know that A is 8C. I'm going to square that, plus 2 times A is 8C. My B term was 3D from up here at the top. And in the back, I have B squared, 3D squared. Okay? So now when I work this out, I just use the power rule. So basically, this is the same, guys, as 8C times 8C, which would be 64C squared. And then I'm multiplying 2 times 8, which is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. But of course, I have C times D, so we just glue that in the back. And then this, again, is like 3D times 3D, which, again, this is like also 3 squared is 9. And then D squared is D squared. So that's it. Okay? So you can either remember this formula when you have this case, and just use the formula, or, again, you could FOIL it out and get the same answer. Here's one more. What happens if they give us something like 3x plus 4y squared? So again, I'm calling this my A. This is my B. And I'm going to go ahead and use the formula. So A squared, 3x squared, plus 2 times A times B, plus B squared. Okay, and so now this becomes 9x squared. This becomes 3 times 2, which is 6. 6 times 4 is 24xy. And then back here, 16y squared. So it's pretty straightforward. And that's that. All right, good deal. So now here is the next special case. So what happens if we do the square of a difference? Okay, so the one I just showed you guys is the square of a sum. And what makes it a square of the sum is because we are squaring, and then we have the sum of two terms there in that parentheses. And so in this one, it is a difference, which is subtraction of the two terms, and we're squaring it. So this is what it looks like expanded out. Here's the formula. It's just like the last one, but there's a minus in front of your 2ab. So I have x minus 3 times x minus 3. That would be the answer if you FOIL it out, but again, there's a formula. All right, so let's try one of these. So what if they gave us something like 6p minus 1 squared? All right, so the a is the 6p. The 1, be really careful, is the b value. Because keep in mind that in the formula, there already is a minus sign there. So you do not have to do anything or change the sign on the b value. You want to stay true to the fact that you are taking the difference between the two terms. So you just want to follow it just like it is. So whatever number is behind that minus, that's what b is, and then a is in the front. So here we go. The formula says a squared minus 2a times b plus b squared. So now I'm going to take my a, 6p, and square it. Minus 2 times a is 6p, and b is 1, plus 1 squared. All right. So now I have 36p squared, multiply negative 2 times 6, which is negative 12. Negative 12 times 1 is negative 12p, plus 1. Pretty easy. Let's do one more. What if they gave us something like, all right, let's look at this one. What if they give us a minus 2b squared? So again, we see a is just a. I'll just write it. A equals a. And then this one, b is equal to 2b. So if I use the formula, I'm going to get a squared minus 2 times a times b plus b squared. So for this one, a squared is just a squared. Okay, and then if I do negative 2 times 1, negative 2, negative 2 times 2, negative 4ab, and then I have plus 4b squared. That's the answer. So again, pretty straightforward for special cases. Just use the formula, or again, FOIL it out. Be careful. Now let me show you the final one. This is the last one, which is product of a sum and a difference. So for this one, as you can see, is you're doing the product, which is multiplication of, you have a plus b and then a minus b. Okay, so in this one, there's no middle term. The formula says, hey, if you have the same binomial, but one is a positive or a plus in the middle, and one has a minus in the middle, you just do a squared minus b squared. So if you look at this one carefully, this was their a, and then back here was their b. So when they took the a squared, they took the 2x squared, which is the a, in both of those parentheses. They end up squaring it, so that gave us 4x to the 4th. Then they had their minus, because that comes from the formula. And then for their b is just the 3. They squared that for 9, and then that's the final answer. So I'm going to work out these two right here. And then I'll show you the homework, and we're done with this video. Alright, so what happens if they gave us something like 3n plus 2, 3n minus 2? So clearly a is 3n, and b is 2. So I'm just going to do a, again it goes a squared minus b squared for the formula of this kind of situation. So I'm going to do 3n squared subtraction 2 squared. So the answer to this is, again, remember this is 3n times 3n. So that is 9n squared minus 4. Pretty straightforward. Now let's look at the next one. What if they give us 4c minus 7d? 4c plus 7d. So again, my a is the 4c. My b is just 7d. Remember, do not include the signs. All right, so now I'm going to do a squared, 4c squared, minus 7d squared. And the final answer to this would be, again, this is the power rule. 4 squared is 16, c squared is c squared. So 16c squared minus, and then I have 7 squared d squared, so that's 49d squared. And that's it for special cases. Pretty easy. Now again, I know that we all get focused on just doing what the teacher asks us to do, but the more practice, the better. So I'm just going to slowly hold this here, and Plenty, if you want to take a screenshot or pause the video, here's just more practice that you can work on. But the homework I want to say for this one is to do 12 through 17. All right. And then I forget what the other part was, but it was something down here. So just look at it. But I can just tell you right now, I think you should do 12 through 17. And I definitely think, again, you should do 21 at least, maybe to 27, or even 22 to 30 is fine. Just as long as you get enough practice to doing a product of a sum and difference, you getting the square of a sum, and doing square of a difference. So just make sure you get a good amount of practice with these and use the formulas, or continue to practice the FOIL method. All right, that concludes this video. On to the last one.